Hello and welcome to Scott's Garage. We have a really fun project that we're going to do today. It's another woodworking project, and I think it's going to be fun. I don't know how many parts it's going to be. We're going to do some glue up, and then just because of the nature of woodworking where you have to wait for things to dry, and then you're putting on finish and things like that, it's usually a multi-day thing. So I'm not sure if I can combine all of this in one video or if it's going to be 2 or 3, but it will be what it will be. It's a beautiful day here in Garden Grove. We're firmly in the grips of June gloom, where it's gloomy pretty much every day, but that makes the temperature nice, and a lot of times the sun does come out in the afternoon, and sometimes not, but that's okay. I have my trusty dog, Willie, is over here on the leash. He's enjoying his time outside, which he always does in the driveway. And we are going to get started with our project. So I want to show you a picture here or here. This is a picture of our living room, our couches, and in the corner of the couches there is a table. Now we've lived in this house for over 10 years and we've had those couches the whole time. And when we moved in, we quickly realized that we needed a table there in the corner because you're watching TV and you have 2 couches that come together in a corner, and you need a table there to put your drinks and snacks and remote control and things like that. So we put a TV tray, just a foldable, cheap TV tray. And we had it there ever since for more than 10 years. I've had it in mind for a long time that I wanted to make a nicer table there. And so what I thought I would do is work on a table that I could put right there in the corner. And I have a couple of ideas. I made another table that's not far from that. It's kind of in the same room. And I'll show you a picture of that here. And that's a small sort of tall table, sort of tall and not very deep, made out of mahogany. And the legs are out of ash and they're painted white. And so that's kind of cool. I like that. So I like the style of that where the edges are routed and then it has kind of straight legs, but they're tapered a little bit at the bottom. So I kind of like that style. Then there's our coffee table that's in the middle of the room, which is, it has black down below. It's painted black below and a natural top. I'm not really, married to the idea that it has to match the other tables. I might take ideas from both of them. I'm not that hung up on having a matched set of furniture. If I want to make something, I want to make it. So I have some ideas, and I took some measurements off of the TV tray. I have one of them sitting here. And so the top is 14.5 inches by 19 rectangle, and I'll show you a better picture of this later. And then it's 26 inches tall. So I was going through a lot of different ideas in my mind. Actually, let me show you let me move the camera to show me working. But eventually, all this wood here, I hope to assemble it in something that resembles a table. So these are kind of a bunch of different scraps that I have. This ash, oak, maple, and some birch. And, I know it's kind of a hodgepodge of different woods, but we'll see if we can't use some of this to make something. My idea yesterday was to go over to Ganal Lumber, which is, I don't know how widespread it is, but Ganal Lumber is like a professional lumber yard and home center, kind of like Home Depot, but it's more professionals go to Ganal. So I went over there yesterday and I was looking for some table legs because I thought it'd be easier if I just had 4 legs and then I could, use it there and I wouldn't have to make them. I could just work on the top and maybe a skirt and then use those legs. So I asked somebody if they had table legs. They said, oh no, we don't carry that anymore. Kind of the same story as some of the stuff that's at Home Depot, which is pretty sad because then I walked around and looked at some other hardwood and I just walked out. I didn't buy anything. I decided I'd just try to work with what I had at home. There was a ton of people working there, people everywhere, and no customers. I didn't see any customers. So I'm not sure how Ganal stays in business. I know they had a few, professional people coming in there. I think they do big jobs, and it's more of a, it's not really the home guy like me in his garage. It's more the professional that's working on a large job that they can make a lot of money at. But tons of people working in there. Couldn't believe the number. I think I saw one guy coming out, one customer coming out when I was coming in, and that was it the whole time. And then otherwise the place was empty, other than 100 workers in there. So I don't know how they do it. I'm not sure. This kind of bleeds into, investment focus. If I was an investor in Ganal, I don't know if they're public, I don't think so, but if I was an investor in Ganal and I walked in there and it was like that, I would be asking some pretty serious questions of how do they make money and stay in business. So I don't know. Just walked out, didn't buy a thing, and I don't know. It's the idea that I had was I'll just go on Amazon and I'll either buy like a big thick piece of ash, I'm sure they sell it, or some table legs. They'll probably come with all the hardware, and it'll probably be really inexpensive. So I don't know. Amazon's just eating everybody's lunch on everything. So enough of me going on and on. Let's look at my clipboard here, and we'll do some math. All right. So I made a little sketch of what I would like the table to look like, and it's based on the measurements of that TV tray, 19 by 14 and a half. This is the top, and then 26 inches high. Have a skirt around it, 4 legs, roughly 2 inches square. Top 3/4, it's not going to be that thick, but just 3/4 inch thick. And then a shelf somewhere along the way. Maybe the legs will be tapered. So that's the basic thing. And you can see I went through several different iterations of tops that I was thinking about doing. I was thinking about putting the birch here and here and having maple here and here, kind of like a breadboard or cutting board. And then I thought, well, maybe I'll just alternate them. And then, believe it or not, what I did last night is I was sleeping and I was dreaming about this, and I kind of came up with the following design that I want to do. And I thought it's kind of similar to the table that we have in there already. So can I do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? Okay, so let's do this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So if we did that here. Sorry about the trash truck. It's trash day today. So if we were to do the top, kind of like this. You can hear the trash truck in the background. Sorry about that. The way I counted 10 is, I think, what was it going to be? Each one of these was going to be like 1.5 inches. Yeah. So if you go, this is 3 inches, and there's 5 of them. So this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 3 would be about 15 inches. Let me pause here. All right, so if we kind of did this sort of thing. So this center part is going to be our birch. And then the outside is going to be our maple. So I have some 3 by maple, which is really beautiful. And I'll put that over there. And then I have some 5.5 inch by 3/4 birch, which is beautiful as well. So I think the combination of those two, I think, might make a really nice top. So 45 the corners. So my idea was this is going to be right in the middle here. I hope this is in the middle. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So So the birch is going to be in here. 2 pieces. And the outside is going to be the maple. So the birch, let's say, I'm going to leave this at 5.5. And both of those will be 5.5. So then that will make this 11, right? 11. And then we want this 14.5. So if I do 14.5 minus 11 is 3.5. 3.5 divided by 2, because the total of these two is going to be 3.5. So what's that? 1 3/4? 75? 1.75. So if I do, this is the same. 1.75, and also this, so I want this to be 1.75 too. 1.75, and then what do we want this to be? Let's dimension it like, let's dimension it like this. And then we have to do a little bit of math. So we want this at 19, and if we want this at 1 3/4, so that's 3.5. So 19 minus 3.5 is what? Do I have to really use a calculator? Minus 3.5. 15.5. So this is 15.5. Okay, so I'm going to double check all of my measurements and make sure that that's right. But I think what I need to do, I think what I'll do today is cut 2 pieces of birch, leave them at 5.5 thick, or no, wide, and just cut them to 15.5 long, glue them together to make the center panel and try to make them as clean as possible. And then I'll rip my maple to 1 3/4, and then we'll kind of save that and we'll put that on after, once this dries the next day. So then the next thing we might want to do is do some is glue up some table legs, or saw also some table legs. So I'd like them to be as close to 2 inches square as possible, and then 25.25. So this would probably be 25.25. 25.25 long, and we'll do that. So I think that's a pretty good chunk of things to do today. Let's get to work on that. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is cut 2 pieces at 15.5, but I think I'm going to do it a little bit differently because the length is super important on this. I'm going to cut it at 15 3/4 and then cut both of them together. I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'll show you how that works. Also, I can take a little bit off the edge because the edge is a little bit funky. What I can do is, if I'm off a little bit, then I can adjust because I'm going to do the maple around it, and if I'm off a little bit on my size, once I get my center panel, then I can cut my maple to match and it won't be such a problem. All right, so that's set at 15 3/4. Nope, I didn't. I did that wrong, didn't I? I did that wrong. I was talking and I wasn't thinking. So 15 3/4, and I'm going to cut on this side of the line. Okay, so less talking, more concentrating. So let's cut it right here. And this is going to be a good edge cut, so I want to make sure it's real good. That smells so good. It smells really good. Okay. So now I have 2 cut edges. And I could probably get my sanding block and do a little bit of sanding here just to take off the edges. Okay, so I have 2 cut edges. And I think I want to maybe clamp these so they're really, so let me go grab a clamp so that I can get them really straight and the exact same. All right, grabbing a clamp. Okay, so now I'm gonna go at 15.5. I'm gonna double check my plan. 15.5. Yeah, 15.5. I'm gonna go right here. Let's look at this. Let me move this. So 15.5. I'm gonna put her right there. And I think what I'm gonna do is cut it the other way. That's a nice thing about having it clamped together now. Is, although I'll have to move my clamp. Okay, so I've got them clamped together. And I don't know, maybe if you were over this way a little bit, where the light doesn't really work very good, does it? But let's try it that way. Now, I'm having trouble with my measurement because I put my mark way up here and my blade. So let's move the mark a little bit. Take your time. And do it right. No rushing. Okay, ready? Woo! Let's see how close we did. Let me show you that. If we look right here, that's pretty darn close. I like that. We're going to move over to the table saw here, not to saw, but just because it's a flat surface. It has a nice flat area. I've got the saw all the way down. And what I'm looking for here is where these pieces can fit together really nice and tightly. Actually, I'm looking for like an A side and a B side. So the A side would be up. Oh, it's hard to tell. This piece is really nice. It's really kind of hard to tell. I'm gonna say these are the A sides, and then I don't know, does it? Wow, that fits really nice. That fits really nicely there. I'm looking for where I can have the joint really tight. I don't know. Just kind of checking things around a little bit. I think this is how I had it originally. And no, like this, and then like this. Right like that. So I put 3 lines across where I'm going to put my biscuits. We're going to biscuit them together and clamp them. Good thing to do is test fit my biscuits to make sure I'm not going to be sticking out the side. And yeah, that should be fine. Make sure my biscuit joiner is set on biscuit size number 20. And right there with the arrow, which is 3/4, this is pretty close to being 3/4. Okay, so we'll just cut these biscuits off the end of the table saw. Okay, so we want to make sure we get all the sawdust out of there. Yeah, we don't want any sawdust in there like that. Just breaking off these little pieces. Okay, so let's test fit dry just to make sure that this is going to go together nicely and happily. Oh my god, that fits so nice. Oh wow, that's going to be great. Okay, let's get some glue. I've got my gluing up station beach towel. And I've got my clamps ready to go. And I've got my glue. So I think we're ready to glue up. I think we should cue some fast motion. Go! All right, that looks really nice. This is the back side. Oh, got a little bit of glue there. That'll sand off. And then this is the front side. And another way we could have done this is to make these a little bit long, glue them together, and then cut this in the table saw. And that's a good way to make sure that this is really straight before because you're gonna put the surround around it, which is gonna be difficult. But I thought I would try this way if I made a really accurate cut, which I think I did, and I think it should make a nice center for a tabletop. So let's put this aside, let it dry overnight, and we'll move on to something else.